was the night after the Bears beat the guys from Green Bay, as Caleb found DJ for the game-winning play. Hell yeah, Bears fans, you are going to the playoffs. The Bears get in today by virtue of the Lions losing to the Steelers. Thank you, Pittsburgh. And the Bears are headed to the playoffs. We know that already. Hell of a game yesterday. Hell of a bunch of great news today on that front for the playoffs. Bears right now, the 2 seed. Hey, wait a minute. Let's go ahead and get the propers out of the way. What up, sports fans and fellow foodies? I'm Julie, and welcome to my kitchen, where each week I talk sports while I'm whipping up culinary treats. And today, because the Packers went down, we are making grilled cheese sandwiches. But first, my tribute to Ben Johnson. Is there any way he's not the coach of the year? Is anyone else even close? Everybody in Chicago loves this guy right now. Yes, there's a little bit of grumbling yesterday about why didn't they run the ball on certain plays, blah, blah, blah. All is forgotten. All is forgotten, all is forgiven. He gets in there for that post game, starts handing out the game balls, gave out 4. And I thought the funny part was when he said, Caleb, none for you. I love you, but none for you. You can sense that affection, that trust, that strong relationship they're building. I love that he and Caleb were watching film the other night, talking about what plays they wanted to put in. And those plays showed up in the game-winning final moments of that awesome victory over the Packers. All right, so for you, Ben Johnson, good, better, best. All right, I'm not going all the way. This is a family program. But in tribute to Ben Johnson, Mr. Take off his shirt to get Chicago free hot dogs. All right, this was an early Christmas present I got. Gotta love it, gotta rep. We love our coach, don't we? When was the last time we had a coach we were this excited about? And if you're Detroit, I know you love your guy Dan Campbell, but aren't you kind of wondering a little bit how you could let him go to a division rival? And this is probably a team that's set up for success going forward with the coach they needed, the quarterback they needed. This is a team that hopefully is not just going to make the playoffs this year, but for years to come. And I'm not going to say the SB phrase yet. We're not going to get that far ahead. But you got to feel pretty good, especially after you watched Detroit today look kind of vulnerable. I'm sorry, Jared Goff, you did not have a great game. The play calling was bad. The Detroit Lions ran for 15 yards today. Credit Pittsburgh's defense for some of that, but 15 yards? Please. They ran 3 plays in the third quarter. Anyway, thumping my chest a little bit, getting ahead, talking a little trash about the division. The Bears have not wrapped up the division yet, but looking pretty good so far. All right, so let's get to those cheeseheads. We're making grilled cheese today. We're doing it a little fancy. Now, sometimes I do my grilled cheese just on the down low, where I toast a couple pieces of bread in the toaster, put some Kraft singles on there, throw it in the microwave, boom. Easy peasy grilled cheesy. That's the kind you do with like tomato soup. This one's a little fancier. I love this one. Gonna give you a couple variations on it. It starts with thick pieces of bread. So what I'm using here, I have one that is a Village Hearth bread, and this one's a rustic thick white. I also have a Brioche Gourmet. Love this one. This one you can get in the whole loaf. You slice it yourself. And so I cut it pretty thick. This is also great for French toast. So those are the breads I'm working with, and I'm going to use hefty amounts of butter and mayonnaise. So let's start with the mayo. We have a nice spatula here to slather up some mayo on the inside of our breads. So I'm going to do it just like this. There is absolutely nothing healthy about this, but you know what? Bears fans, kick back with a brewski and a grilled cheese sandwich and just enjoy life for right now. You got the 49ers coming up next week. You close the season with the Detroit Lions, who, as I mentioned, not real impressed with them right now. Sorry to say, Lions fans. But you gotta enjoy these last 2 weeks here as we get ready to see what the Bears are going to be doing in the playoffs. Gosh, that sounds so crazy good, doesn't it? Just like all this mayonnaise I'm smearing on here. You know, I could make some joke about spread offense, but really it was all about defense at the end of the game. You had the Packers playing a cover 0 defense, which means they were blitzing the heck out of the quarterback. You know what what that means? It means you have guys open in the end zone. Caleb Williams continues to impress me with how calm, cool, and collected he looks in these situations. He's sitting on the sidelines knowing he's going to have a chance to come in and win the game. Doesn't look ruffled. See him in the huddle. He's telling his guys, like, we got this. Cool as a cucumber. So, Iceman cometh again. All right, we got our mayonnaise on here. If you haven't noticed, over here, I've got some apple slices that I sauteed ahead of time so they'd be nice and soft for us. This is one of my secret ingredients in my grilled cheese. I cut these super duper paper thin. That's partly so they're not chunky in your sandwich, and it's also so they cook quickly when I saute them. They're just sauteed in a bunch of butter. I like to make my grilled cheese sandwiches with the apple slices. Gives you a little bit of tartness. You can go all the way tart with Granny Smith. You can use any kind you like that gives you just that balance in your sandwich. But the thing to remember is you just want to keep these nice and thin. If you're not a big fan of apples, or if you just want to try a different variety, pears, also a good way to go. All right, we are going to butter up this. I've got a little bit of low heat on my griddle. I'm going to kick that up just a smidge. And then we're going to get some butter going on here. My cheese. All right, y'all know I love my smoked Gouda. I've got some smoked Gouda. I've got some smoked Gruyere. A couple different fun white cheeses. You can use whatever cheese you want, but those are the kind I'm going to use today. And I sliced them up with my little cheese slicer. But if you want to pay homage to DJ Moore, he of the game-winning touchdown, you can grate your cheese. You can get some little cheese shreds here as well. They're a little bit messier to work with. You can sprinkle them on there. They'll melt quickly. But if you didn't see it, DJ Moore last night in the locker room was wearing a cheese grater hat to counter those cheese head hats, those foam cheese heads. All right, so I got my butter, big chunks of butter here. You can use any kind of butter or margarine you want. I am actually using a butter spread rather than actual butter. It's not gonna burn as quickly. It's a little bit easier to smear around. All right, so we got that working. Also, I've got some bacon I cooked off in the oven a little while ago. That's also a key ingredient. You get some salt, you get some tart, you get some sweet, you got all that working. All right, what you're gonna do with your pieces of bread here is you are gonna smear them in that melted butter. You're gonna let that get nice and brown. That sizzle we got there, it's like the sizzle of the Bears offense late in the game. First 3 quarters of that game, snooze fest. Not gonna lie, some of us were, struggling to keep our eyes open those first 3 quarters. Wasn't a very pretty game. A couple field goals in the early going. Just wasn't exciting until it was. And if you see the look on the Packers' faces, they all had that "what just happened" look. I love that when your opponent's got that going on. All right, so now I'm gonna put on my brioche bread here. Just give us some different varieties and different options. Smeared around our melted butter. Got my apples working over here. They are done. They are nice and soft, which is exactly how I wanted them. All right, now we're gonna start layering some cheese in here. Like I said, I've got all sorts of cheese slices. Tried to keep them pretty thin, not super easy when you're slicing with a little cheese slicer, but the thinner you keep them, the quicker it'll melt. Okay, like this one, probably a little too thick. It's okay, that just means it's snack available while you're cooking here on the griddle. People have asked me before, I know I've used the griddle a couple times in different videos. People have said, hey, I don't have a griddle, what can I do? You know what? This is the same thing you would do in a frying pan on your stove. It's just, I love the griddle, which by the way was a Christmas present last year that I get a lot of use out of. But I love the griddle, and it works well for our situation here, for our videos, but it's also really convenient for working like this on an island. If you got a lot going on in your kitchen and you just need a home base to be able to cook things, this is a really good way for me to get it done. All right, so as I'm stacking up all my cheeses here, all sorts of just little pieces of the various kinds I mentioned. I've tried a bourbon Gouda that I just love. Yeah, I just open my cheese drawer, see what I've got available. It's kind of my theory of when I'm making omelets as well. You just throw every cheese under the sun in there and just get it all nice and gooey. All right, so we got that working there. Throw in a little bit more cheese. And since our apples are nice and warm, when I put the apples on here, they're gonna add some heat. Do that with a fork, but you know, when you're a chef, your hands are pretty much already trashed. So here, we'll make a spatula push here. They're a little bit brown on the bottom, but that's okay. Brown is good. Brown adds flavor. Okay. I think the late Ann Burrell used to say that. If you ever saw her on Food Network, she'd always say, brown food is good. Yes, indeedy, Ann, you are correct. All right, I'm putting these on one side, not both, because if you try and flip the apples together, it gets a little bit messy. All right, so we're gonna do that. Slide that over just a smidge so I can work with this one. I don't quite have the brownness I want on here at the moment. That's partly because, oh, I left out my bacon. Who forgets bacon? Bacon makes everything better, right? I looked down, I saw it sitting here looking all forlorn. This is country style bacon. I get it from a place near my house called Butcher on the Block. Fabulous place. And I'm just gonna break off some pieces in here to fit the bread. And you know, if I have a little bacon extra, it's okay, extra snacks. Or my 3 dogs who are smelling the bacon and have been smelling the bacon, they're more than happy to take that bacon off my hands. All right, now I've got everything assembled in there, kicking up my heat a little bit. Once the butter has absorbed into the bread, you can see the bread's getting a little butter soggy. That's when you're gonna have a little bit more brown on your griddle. So I'm gonna just keep an eye on it. Oh, bacon down, bacon down. So when you start to see the brown like this, that's what you're looking for. I'll just kind of keep smearing it around here, smushing it down a little bit, and just seeing the cheese just ooze out and be all sad and mushy because the cheese lost to the bears. All right, that's a stretch, but you guys know where I'm going with that. All right, so that's what we're doing for this week. I'm gonna serve this up with some chips because there were some chippy plays in that game too. I see you, Packers. And I know the Bears took out Jordan Love. I get it. You know what? I actually thought that Malik Willis came in and played pretty well. So I don't know if you can use that as a reason the Bears won and the Packers lost. But we are done with the Packers for this season, 1-1. God bless you, Ben Johnson, for your first year making the playoffs and beating the Packers. And next week, 49ers, another team that's clinched a playoff spot. It's Bears-Niners next Sunday night. And then they finish with those Detroit Lions. Hopefully the Bears can hold them to even fewer than 15 yards rushing. That's all I've got for tonight. Have a Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. And we'll see you back here next time celebrating more Bears victories. Good, better, best. Thanks, Ben Johnson. Merry Christmas.